Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review, we are looking at the LPZZ Batman Arkham Knight V8.0 for Batman. And this is the main Arkham Knight Batman suit. And this figure has been heralded as the best action figure of all time by lots of people, at least the best Batman figure. But it's a wildly popular release from a relatively new to the market type of company, and it's not being distributed in the US at this point. Hopefully they get that sorted out. So I won't have a link for this guy, by the way. He's not here. I had to get him through a different place, and I don't know if I like the place that much, so I'm not going to recommend him. Anyway, this is a new Batman figure that everybody says is great, but I'm going to review it like any other figure. I'm not going to do the whole, what do they call it nowadays, glazing thing. I'm going to review it like anything else. Is it the best Batman figure ever? Maybe. But that doesn't mean it's perfect, and I'm going to talk about all the good and the bad. So let's go ahead and get him off the stand and take a closer look. Alright, before we look at the figure, I do want to show you my package. I have to say, I don't know where they got this exact image from. I don't know that that's just like a photoshopped version of some official artwork. He looks thick there, and I want a Batman figure that looks like that. That would be cool. I don't think Batman's ever looked like that in this game. He's really broad and muscular and thick. That's really cool. So the front of the box looks nice. The figure does not look like that at all. But it has the chrome lettering on there, the cool artwork. Otherwise, it's mostly pretty bland. But it does have a window on it, so that's nice. You can see the figure and the accessories. Pretty good premium feeling package, premium looking package. Not the most colorful, but it's there. All right. Very dark image, by the way. I didn't even realize until just now that Batman was right there. Alright, okay, so the only thing that's wrong with this figure really is that he doesn't come with the Batmobile from the game. No, I'm joking. That was maybe not the best part of the game. So, this guy stands... It was kind of cool, like shooting out of it and whatnot, but all the fights were annoying. Okay, he stands, 17.5 centimeters roughly to the top of the head, a little bit shy of that. Just over 18 to the top of the ears. That's going to make him... We'll call it 6 3/4 and then like 7 1/8. Give or take. Here he is up against Darwin. Little bit of height. You could fit him into your Marvel Legends style collection if you wanted to. It's not perfect, but it will do. Alright, so question of the day. What do you guys think about this Batsuit? I like it a lot, but it is by far the most of a far cry away from a traditional Batman suit in any of these games. And I think it's really cool. So I'm just curious if you guys like this, or do you like a more traditional look? This half Iron Man look is definitely a thing you have to want. Or it doesn't matter how good the figure is, because you're not going to care. It's not Batman in a traditional sense. So I'm just curious how you guys feel about it. I like the suit plenty, I like the game enough, and so I'm happy to get the figure. Okay, let's talk about the aesthetic, because that is by far the best thing about this figure. This detail right here is my favorite. I love the abdominal section, the way they've done the painting and the sculpting. It looks really, really nice. The paintwork throughout is pretty darn clean. It's not perfect though. If you look at the shoulder pads, hopefully you can see that. Let's see if I can brighten it up. Yeah, you can kind of see the carbon fiber look that's on there. I don't know if it's fingerprint smudges or what, but mine's not perfectly smooth as it should look. But it still looks really nice. You can see the kind of like undersuit, the hexagonal pattern of the undersuit's very nicely detailed. Lots of detail throughout on this guy. It's really, really well executed for the most part. It's not perfect, but it's really good. Here's the head part. I do think that the nose is a little bit... It shouldn't be so pointy and sticking out that far. Like, it's not perfect. But these, I have to go over everything because I'm guessing most people who reviewed this just say how great it is, and some people out there might want a little bit more information. So yeah, it's not perfect. I don't like the way they did the silver line work around the face mask part. It's just supposed to look like edgewear, I guess, like dry brushing, but it's really obvious that the faceplate has silver around it, and it does take away from the look. Now you're probably wondering about the eyes, because I made them all white. He has posable eyes, so I just posed the colored part away, and I think it looks really cool, because I like Batman with white eyes. But yeah, he does have regular irises and pupils in there, and it looks nice, it's good. But it's also really hard to pose posable eyes to make them not look googly, so the all-white look is what I'm going for. But the face paint job is really, really nice, the sculpt work is nice. It's generally really, really good looking, super accurate, I mean reasonably speaking, and it looks great. It looks fantastic. I am thrilled, I'm smitten even with the figure. I'm pointing out the good and the bad though, and so we have to talk about two things. One thing is the shoulder pads, in terms of looks, are annoying because they don't move as much as I would want them to. You see that gap right there? You can't close that gap with the shoulder pads without raising the arm. I want to be able to make the shoulder pad look like that with the arm down. That's a tiny issue, but the reason it's an issue is because the cape is jacked on this figure, unfortunately. Super unfortunately, because in some ways the cape is just wonderful. I love the material they used, even though it maybe isn't the right look exactly, but they also do have the Bat logo, like the separate paneling on here that matches the game. You see that extra section going across where my thumbs are, basically. I think they did a really good job with that, and it is wired, and that's good, but it's not wired correctly. I can't believe that they did this, honestly. Like, it's really unfortunate that where the cape connects, the wire does not connect. This lump right here, can you see that? It's hard to film such a dark figure. This lump right at my finger here. Come on, focus on the cloth and not his head. That's the end of the wire. So it's a floppy wire. You need to have the wire anchored on a figure like this in order for it to be any good. I cannot believe they did that. So, and it's even worse on this side. There's extra cape material on this side with the wire not connected. So that sucks. So you could probably disassemble this, pull off these trap pieces, and like rewire it somehow and stick it in there and make it better, but I'm not doing that. That's a huge pain in the ass, and I don't want to mess up the figure. I don't want to drill holes into it and try to break pieces off and stuff. That sucks. It's not as bad as, or I mean, it's worse than the in-art Batman, because that one was a removable cape that they are now making a wired cape as an accessory pack. This is just glued into the figure poorly. It's so unfortunate that his cape is wired but floppy. So like the wires help and you can make it look good, but the fact that it doesn't connect properly is it's really disheartening for a figure that's otherwise so good. Man, and then the whole trap area is not quite as beefy as it should be. It gives him kind of a skinny neck look compared to what it should be, and I think his shoulders could be a little bit broader too. Like, it's not perfect. You can kind of pull them out that way, but it makes it, I guess it works. But then the shoulder pads are even farther away. So I would probably leave them pulled out, but I'm guessing most people are going to want the shoulder pads closer in to the cape. I don't know. And then there's the whole argument of whether or not the cape should be under the shoulder pads. And if it's not under the shoulder pads, should it be able to go over the shoulder pads, which it cannot do. He can't have like the droopy cape situation, and they're not connected to the shoulder pads. So there's like a whole big issue with the cape that's not great. Other than that, though, I have to review. I can't just say, oh, it's my favorite and be done. That's not my job. Other than that, though, it still looks really, really good. There are issues, like the gray is darker here than down here because of the whatever kind of wash or airbrushing they did. It's not a perfect figure. Is it the best figure, even though it's like, what, I don't know, it's like $70 or something like that? I can say who I used. I used Gundam, and I don't know if I like the way they handle their stuff. Like, I got my stuff, but it took a while, and it's kind of a pain in the butt, and maybe a lot of these stores are like that. I hear the same kind of things about 5K and Bombas B, so I don't know. But yeah, I paid $70. I think that's just what it costs. I'm pretty sure that's what everybody paid for it, unless you bought it on like AliExpress or something. So yeah, it's like it's an excellent figure, but there are issues, and the cape is a huge one. But that being said, aesthetically speaking, I'm still going to give it a 9.5 out of 10. It's gorgeous, and at this scale, the details are unrivaled. It's awesome. It's not perfect, I have to be clear. Okay, now as far as accessories go, you get a really nice spread of hands, though there's one hand that's missing, and I think that's just like the kind of relaxed hand, because they have one that's like this, where you do that. My arm looks fat. That's the foreshortening of the camera, by the way. I don't have fat arms. They have this pose. I want this pose, like something a little bit more neutral. Not a relaxed hand, like a posy hand, but hopefully you get what I'm saying. Anyway, they don't have that, but they have a good spread of hands. They have a whole bunch of bat gadgets. I don't need to name them all. I like that they included the 3 colored batarangs. That's cool. You do get the alternate mouthpiece for the cowl, so that's really nice. And then you do get the removed cowl that's like separated at the different components. And his unmasked head is excellent. These guys are on par with InArt. The paint job, the sculpt work, it is really, really good. very pleased with that. I would like to use this head just because it looks so nice, but Batman has to have his cowl for me. But that's great. And then you get the display stand, which is also really good. Two things, just because this is a review, having this be all black makes it a little bit less cool, but it also says Arkham Knight, which is the name of the game, and not him, so yeah, it does have Batman Arkham Knight right here. I think this should have just said Batman, and then if they make other characters, which they are, they could put their names on there. So I don't know, I don't know. Let me know what you guys think about that. And then the other thing is the display stand itself, the upright, is nice. It's crystal clear acrylic, really good. Screws are tight out of the box, which is wonderful. So many times I pull out a Revoltech or a Figma, like when I used to buy those, and they were loose. So I love that. But if they're going to improve anything, I would love for them to improve, at least for the display stand, the offset claw. I don't like offset claws. I think they need to each have a step up and a step down so that the claws pinch together and aren't offset. But that's obviously a super minor thing. So accessory wise, 9.5 out of 10. I'd like some different hands, but otherwise it's really, really good. Okay, and now it's time for the articulation. Let's brighten it up a little bit so we can see what we're doing. The head, ball pegs throughout the head and neck, and it works nicely. Does he look up as much as I would like him to look up? Probably not. Is it enough? Definitely. I know some people really want to crank the necks back. I don't do that. Like, how often do you really need that? Is it nice to be able to? Yes. Could they maybe have been able to do that? Probably. But he does have this collar piece that gets in the way, so I think it's reasonable that he can't. Oops. I pulled his whole face off. Yeah, you can't get him to look up any farther than that. So there's his eyeballs, by the way. You get a little tool to move those around if you want to pose those, but I'm just going to stick with the wide eyes. I think it looks cool. I don't remember him ever doing it in the game, but he probably did. That was a long time ago now. But yeah, the head moves around nicely. He's got the things in the way, though, that block it, so it doesn't have as much range as you might have hoped, but it's not their fault, because those things are in the way. Now for the shoulders, as I already showed you, we have this butterfly joint. I think it's just on a ball peg in there, honestly. It's hard for me to say because I haven't pulled it apart, but you do get a lot of range out of that. That's this piece right here, a lot of range, and it does go up and down and pull out, and so that does help him get that broader shoulder look that the game had. So that's nice. I really like the way they did that. It's a good way to do it. And then you have your full rotation here. That's good. Your shoulder pad is on a double hinge, so that's why I was expecting it to have a little bit more range, but you can get his arms up nicely even with the shoulder pads. When I said more range, I meant the shoulder pad being able to move in more, but still, that works really nicely. That's good. Bicep swivel is underneath the shoulder pad, obviously, so that's good. Double jointed elbow. There's technically some wiggle and swivel going on. I don't think it's actually intentional. I think it's just the way it's assembled. But you do get your double jointed elbow that moves really nicely. A little lumpy. Can't quite tell where the elbow is supposed to be. It looks like it's right here, but then it's right here also. So that's a little strange, but it's not bad. You still have really good range out of it. And then for the wrists, you have a ball hinge, and so that's fine. These don't really rotate in any functional way. They just jiggle around. For the torso, one of the things I like is that the chest collapses like this, so that you can bring his arms across his chest more, which is really cool. These just slide over, and so far I don't have any scratching, so hopefully that doesn't end up happening. They kind of jiggle and feel like they're loose and sometimes get kind of funny looking when they're not pinched in, but it's fine. That's a cool mechanism to have. It's kind of like the DLX or MDLX, which one is it? I don't know. The 3.0 Iron Man figures. So that's a nice feature for getting the butterfly joints to work. But for the diaphragm joint, you have one at the top. It doesn't get too much range at the top, but it works nicely. That's good. And then leaning back, again, it's not the most range, but it still works nicely, and it looks really, really nice. And then leaning side to side, not much, almost none at that top joint, almost no rotation also. But then we have the lower joint, which doesn't lean back very far either, so that's the maximum backward lean on this guy. And then leaning forward, it does lean forward pretty well, so with both of those combined, it's a good lean forward. It's nice to see a figure lean forward these days, huh? Side to side is good at the lower. It's not the best, but it's fine. And that's where you're going to get your rotation also. It's not going to go all the way, but it will go. Now for the belt, they did kind of a Revoltech thing where these parts, they have a little pin so they can snap into place and they're not a pain in the ass all the time. You just snap them in and where's the pin? There you go. So you just snap him in place and leave the belt in place. But if you want to move his thighs extra, you can unsnap them and move them up, get them out of the way. So that's a good look. I like that. Now for the hips, unfortunately they did drop downs, which, oh, drop downs. Don't like drop downs. Shouldn't do drop downs. But he can kick out to the side, which doesn't have anything to do with drop downs. So that's good. You can do that. And then they are a little bit loose on that hinge. That's unfortunate. Both of my legs are a little bit loose. Not floppy or anything, but just you can tell as you're moving it, it feels like, oh, that's a little bit too loose. Going forward, without the hinge, or without the drop down, you get that much. With the drop down, you get more. Not a ton more, but more, so that's fine. Like, for a figure like this, I don't mind fighting with the drop downs. It'd be nicer to not have them, but it's not like a miserable situation. The legs go back, but obviously you get crazy gappy. So you have your thigh swivel. It'll swivel a little bit on the inside, but then obviously you have this big cut right here that'll swivel more, so you get that. And then for the knees, they work like the elbows pretty much, only they look a little bit less weird, so that's good range. Proportioning is good enough. And then for the ankle, you get the motion in there, then you also get the motion at the bottom. So it works kind of like a Revoltech, sort of. So they point down pretty nicely and then pointing forward. Yeah, you don't get that much going forward, I guess, but you do get the toe hinge, which is nice. The toe hinge is well placed. It's a little bit far forward, honestly, but like not enough to really worry about. So that's good, and it has a little bit of a shelf, but a tiny one, so that's okay. Then you do get your ankle rocker, but mine came with the boot jammed into the joint down here, so it doesn't want to work. I have to fix that. But let's see on this side what the ankle rocker is like. It's good. It's a really good ankle rocker. Not like crazy doing the splits and the feet are still flat ankle rocker, but it's a nice one. So that is good. And then lastly, I already mentioned it, but the cape is wired. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wires. I don't love the way they did the wiring because they have like a pleat, essentially. The wire is sewn. You're not going to be able to see that. Okay, let me see if I can figure out how to show you the cape. This shiny black material just eating up the light. And on the inside, it's not shiny. It's eating it up even more. The wire is, goodness gracious, is stitched like that. Is that too much? I don't know how to show you this. Here we go. There you go. So the wire is up here. And so it has kind of like a little fin on every one of the wires. So it's not like great, but whatever. But on the sides, unfortunately, it's glued. And so that's the part that I needed to fix. Like I was gonna, if it was just stitched around the wire like the other ones, I was gonna pull that wire out or just push it through even more and pin it in. But I can't do it because it's glued on. So that's a problem for the jacked up cape. Okay, anyway, back to the articulation rating. Really good articulation. It's not like super posable or anything like that, but it'll definitely get the job done, I think, for most people. And it works. So I'll give the articulation an 8 out of 10. We definitely have some issues. Oh god, that's the most annoying thing, the drop down hips. Yeah, he could have more range in the torso, things like that, but it's still really good. I could probably even go 9 out of 10. I think I will. 9 out of 10, because he looks so good and can pose pretty well. So now, it's time for the final verdict. Is this the be-all, end-all of action figures? In a lot of ways, kind of. It's a really good figure. It's a great example of how to put a lot of effort into a figure and make it really, really, really nice. However, unfortunately, especially with the cape, there's a lot of room for improvement. With everything else, there's a little bit of room here and there, tweaking things, whatever, that's fine. But if the figure had a good cape, especially the way it was connected, hands down, like blows away everything else. But unfortunately, dropping the ball on the cape is a big deal on Batman, and it affects the way it looks because it sits funny up here. You can't pose it as well as you would like. The cape is a big problem. So I'm going to do 2 ratings for the final verdict on this guy. 1, if you don't care about the cape. If you don't mind the cape issue, this guy gets a 9.9 out of 10. Room for improvement, sure, it's not perfect, but it's damn good. And if you do care about the cape, then 9 out of 10. The cape is a big deal, unfortunately, for them. So, like, the rest of the figure is excellent in so many ways, but that cape is really unfortunate, and there's not a good way to fix it without popping these pieces off and hoping you don't break stuff. So, that's really, really unfortunate, but but I guess that's what we have. So that's it from me. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I'm thrilled with this figure personally, but that cape just breaks my heart. It's so unfortunate. Man, but so good otherwise, and I really like the white eye look too. Let me know how you guys feel about that. Is that a good idea? I think it's a good idea. All right, that's it for me. Thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed the video, please do give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. And if you haven't subscribed, you should. I have new videos just about every single day, and thousands already on the channel. So make sure you come back for all of that. And in the meantime, keep collecting.